WorkBenchCon is the conference for makers and content creators. We're at day 2 of the 2023 WorkBenchCon, and wow, what a day! It was busy and it was full schedule from early this morning at breakfast all the way through the sessions, all the way into the night where we were um, collaborating with each other, speaking with each other, and networking and building relationships, and meeting some of those creators that I always wanted to meet. It was great to see so many creators out tonight and in the different sessions today. I appreciate you being here and watching this. I wanted to go through what I did today and see if that will benefit you. If you are thinking about opening a YouTube channel, starting a YouTube channel, I think I have some information to share with you that may benefit you. If you're trying to grow your business, again, some information. They give us a full schedule and let us pick which classes to go to. Some of the classes were full before I could even get to them, so I ended up going to others. But wow, the ones I went to, fantastic. So, like I said, we started out the day with a little breakfast and get together, and we went right into the opening exercises. And Joni Sprague of Trading Spaces TV fame and other projects she's worked on was kind of the keynote speaker this morning, and gave a great talk to us, made us think about and remember the things that we enjoyed doing and were good at as a child, and how that impacts us now. I think that as we ponder those things, what we enjoyed as children impacts our hobbies and careers and side hustles today as adults. So it was interesting listening to her. She's very energetic, very, uh, very much able to communicate a lot of information in a short amount of time. And it was just fun being in that giant room with all those creators, listening to her. I decided to go to the session on breaking the brand barrier. And Chris from Make Everything was the instructor, and he put together a nice presentation, had it on PowerPoint. I took some notes as I went. I'm just going to go over some of those with you. The As far as breaking that brand barrier, even as a small channel, one of the things that you need, or some of the things you need to keep in mind, is that you have value as an influencer. You know, if you are on YouTube or any other social media and you are influencing others, you have value. And the days where all companies just look for huge subscriber counts and so forth, those days might be gone, because some smaller businesses and even the bigger businesses are looking for ways to advertise with smaller companies, and finding out if you can influence 1,000 people, that might not be the same as somebody who can influence 100,000, but what you're able to charge or get in for compensation from those companies is far less. And so it may be better for those companies to have 10 or 20 smaller channels, smaller meaning less subscribers, less followers on Instagram or Facebook, whatever the case may be. And they can have multiple representatives giving different angles about their products, instead of having one huge influencer with a lot of followers and a lot of subscribers. But the value you bring as an influencer includes the dedicated fans and viewers that enjoy your content, and your time with them has value to them. They trust you. They learn to trust you as you share honest content with them. And in the experience of conveying information to them, you can share real world uses of products and set those expectations with them that you have actually used a tool or used a brand and what your experience is. And there's no reason that you shouldn't be compensated if that is leading to sales for an organization. If you're looking to do that, you can break into that, but you've got to find a way to reach out to these companies and let them know that you want to do that. The value for you to represent a brand is the potential for free stuff, quote, free stuff. And that may be them sending you items to review and so forth. It also gives you the foot in the door with that company. So if they send you an item, either at no monetary cost or a discounted cost, so that you can give an honest review of it, then that gets you in the door with them, because they'll be following up and you can follow up with them. And if you can show that you can produce results, then that may open you up for opportunities to work out a longer deal, a better sponsorship, more favorable to you. Also, any tools that they send you, it should be clear that once they send those to you, you own those. So there's a resale value in those tools, so that at some point, whenever you don't need that tool or you upgrade later, you could sell that tool and recoup the money from that sale. You also have the potential to get commissions from affiliate links. Amazon, Home Depot, and other companies offer these links where you share the link with your followers, and in return, you get a small commission every time that they make a purchase through those links. And there's a organic exposure from content showing products that your viewers could find useful. And there's the value to your followers, showing you as a resource for new and interesting products. And we'll speak briefly about that. But if you're reviewing a product they haven't seen, or they haven't seen used, your viewers haven't seen used in a real world example, a real world purpose, you could share that with them, and that gives value to your viewers. And I know for many of us, the idea of taking free products might skew the results of the test, and you have to determine those expectations. That if you do have a company send you something to share with your audience, that's great. Set the expectation. If you're going to do a completely fair, unbiased review, tell the positives and the negatives. Or if you are going to, have a biased review, where you let them review what you say before you release the video and have input, but you should be honest with your viewers about that too, and let your viewers know that you received that product at a discount or as at no monetary cost. Now, Chris was saying how he does it. He chooses an angle of attack, meaning I'm sorry, I think I got my notes mixed up here. It is late. Nope, I had it right. Yeah. So he chooses an angle of attack. So whether that be through an Instagram contact, through email, or even on a phone call, always trying to figure out how you're going to approach a company to ask for this branding deal with them, whether it be getting a product um, with no monetary cost or some other type of monetary deal with them. Um, you can direct message companies and make sure to include comments to them about their company values. You know, if you're approaching a company that's family owned, then it may be good to mention whenever you approach them that you would love to have a partnership in the form of some kind of sponsorship to support family owned businesses, and that's the kind of thing that you're looking for. On the other hand, if they have other values in their company, you may want to see if those values align with yours and communicate that with them whenever you do, that that's included with what you plan on doing. You should be offering something in return. So if you are asking them, say, for a free tool, free in quotes, you're offering something to them in return, that you're going to do a full review, or you're going to use their product to work on a project, and you will be mentioning their company name and giving an honest assessment of it. Whatever it is, you need to let them know what to expect in return for working with you and sharing their products, sending their products, giving you a discount on the product, or sending it to you for no monetary value. Sometimes it's good to name drop. So if you heard of the company through Matt at 731 Woodworks, or from Jonathan Katz Moses, whatever your connection may be, if that's suitable, then it may be good to mention that, so that they know that you're not just finding them on the internet, that you've had some kind of connection that connects you. And through all this, being genuine with them. This needs to be, if you want a good working relationship with a branded company, then you want to go into that relationship with honesty, setting proper expectations, and being genuine with them about what you're trying to accomplish. He gave some examples. For example, he worked with a company because they had a dust collector for metal work, and he approached them and reached them and talked to them about how their product could be used for those working on knives, and the sparks coming off of the knives can have a problem with a regular woodworking dust collection, because if you get those sparks coming off and it gets in the sawdust, if there's any sawdust in there and you're feeding it with that air from the vacuum, then you can have potential to start a fire that will escalate quickly. Well, this company had a system that they used for a certain purpose and marketed it to that certain purpose. So he contacted them and introduced the idea that he could share it with his followers and branch that out into other areas besides specifically what they had marketed it for previously. So it led to multiple direct sales for the company. The led to getting feedback because certain shavings were coming off of the knife that were not typical to the way it had been used before, and so they actually made an alteration to the design, and so that feedback helped them innovate so that they would have a better product to market to even further potential customers. And he measured, because of his working with them and sharing video on this product, over 1,000 clicks to their company. So over 1,000 people clicked on his link and went and looked at their company. Now, I don't know how many sales that turned into, but he knows there was multiple sales. And he ended up with a tool to use that served his purposes. Another example that he was talking about, and if I'm getting any of the details wrong, and Chris hears this, then he could please correct me, or come on the channel one night and we'll talk in a live interview. I'd love that. The U.S. solid induction forge. So it was a $1,200 plus tool, and it was a Chinese company. Well, he kept sending them. They had no social media, so he kept trying to contact them throughout the day, and finally reached somebody. But it was late at night, because he found out all their work was done in China, so they weren't working and taking phone calls during the day. So he had to reach them late at night, and he asked permission to share the product on his channel to the first person he contacted, and told him he wanted to talk about that. And that led to a conversation where he was to explain, if they would send him the tool, then he could share it on his channel and lead business to them. And they were asking if there was a fee. He said, just send me the tool and we'll work this out. They ended up working out a deal where I think he paid a reduced amount, and then depending on results, he got a refund of the money that he paid towards that tool, which was a $1,200 tool. In the end, he saved $1,200 on the tool, had 2 indirect sales through Amazon, had 5 million content views on the videos that he made around that tool, picked up over 8,000 subscribers on YouTube, had a $2,000 in ad revenue across the platforms. So he was making money on the content as well as receiving the tool at no monetary charge in exchange for him doing an honest review and showing how to use it on a project. So he says it's all about how you start the conversation and you work through it with them. Reach out to them through a channel that requires no research if possible, or very little research. You go to their Instagram page, you find an email, even sometimes do a direct chat with somebody from the company, see if you can get that dialogue started. And he believes that this kind of approach, maybe not on the big dollar items, but on some items, could work for any size channel, not just a larger channel like his, a more established channel. Make sure to share relevant content with the brand, so it's an easy decision. So make sure they understand where you are, what you can do for them as an influencer. A lot of these companies don't understand that what influencers can do in marketing, helping share information about their products. So educating whoever you get in contact with a little bit may open the door to a longer conversation and may lead to some type of deal with them. And if it really proves profitable for them, then those results show up, and maybe you can work that into a longer term sponsorship deal. So again, always set the clear expectations. Let them know if you're going to do an honest review without sending any video to the company. Let them know that you're going to show it in action, and that it's going to be a fully, integrated in your content, and that you own your content, but that they can share that link, to your video or what have you, on their website or on their social media, so they can take full advantage of it. So that was a good and educational channel. And he says, make sure you make yourself look even better by using stats that are flattering. So whenever you look at your stats and you're trying to communicate that to them, make sure, let them know that, in the past 30 days, what your social media has accomplished, or the last 90 days. You pick the time periods that make you look the best and the stats that make you look the best. Not that you're hiding anything, but you're trying to paint a picture of what you can provide as a positive to them, to help negotiate the deal. So Polly Wants a Crafter, hello there. Robbins Buys and DIYs, hello. Woodcraft by Saman, great to see you. I know you're in the building. I know where you are. So glad that you're here and watching. Then I went to a different session. Let's talk about another session. There was a session on to niche down or not to niche. And it was led by James Wright, which is Wood by Wright, and about 10 other channels that he runs, and of all trades, and Rex Kruger. So these are three individuals that are very charismatic and could share some good ideas and feedback, and it was great to see them on stage, and as they kind of riffed, so they would go from topic to topic, but making sure to talk about niches. So Ann talked about her viral video that led to some dissatisfied subscribers. She had because she covers so many different topics. And, if you release a video on topic A and you get a lot of subscribers because of that, but then your next several videos have nothing to do with topic A, then you're going to have a set of subscribers that may be disappointed in that and may not engage with you. They may want something very specific. If you are into, carving and lathe work, and you do a video on lathe work, and then you get a bunch of subscribers off of that, and then you don't go back to lathe work for a long time, that might not be very satisfying to your users. So that is always one thing to consider. So, and she was talking about, I found it interesting. I made a little note here. Some sponsors that had contacted her actually wanted to pay her to do some things, and she let them know up front, my audience is not the right target audience. And so having the proper niche level, so if you niche down, to the right level, then your audience can be catered for certain content and also for certain advertising, which may help you establish some sponsors. Let's see. Make sure that you want to share the message, not just have views because of the topic. So you might get, if you decide to go outside of your regular niche on another topic, a hot topic of the day, whatever it might be, you might pick up a lot of views and a lot of new subscribers even. But if you are more focused on the message and to the people you're trying to deliver the message to, your core audience, you're a viewer. If you do decide to niche down, do you have a, one of the things I ask, is do you slowly transition or do you have a sudden change? And they say once you make that decision about what your audience should be and how you're going to make content, then you should do that from that day forward. You should cater your channel to that niche. So for James Wright, it's not power tools, it's hand tools, excuse me, hand tool woodworking, and it's just very catered to them. So a lot of good talk there. Don't start a video if you don't know how to market it. That came from Rex, and I wrote that quote down. So whenever you're thinking about what videos to make for your channel, one of the things to consider is, how am I going to market this? How am I going to get people to view it by having the right thumbnail, the right title? How am I going to market it to the viewers? And if you don't know how you're going to market it to your target audience, then don't even make the video. It really has to be marketed correctly. As far as thumbnails and titles, Mr. Wright was saying, he doesn't worry about the thumbnail, for search-based SEO, search engine optimized videos. He's like, I don't spend much time on it, because the whole video is structured to show up in search, whether YouTube search or Google search. It's based to do that, and it's not meant really for the algorithm to be pushing it out. So not necessarily chasing a high number of views, but if you are trying to get to a larger audience with a video, then you need to be very careful selecting how you're going to do that thumbnail and title so it is marketed correctly to your target audience. So you have niched down to the right level. And I found all that very interesting. So I went to, of course, we had breaks and stuff, but the third session I went to was with Cam from Blacktail Studio and John from Lincoln Street Woodworks, both of which are huge in our woodworking niche, right? Cam is the number one growing woodworker on YouTube right now, and Lincoln Street has been growing like crazy ever since he started. So they understand the process. They understand how to get views and how to satisfy their target audience. So they went through and talked about the beginning, the middle, and the later middle of being a YouTuber, and some suggestions. Anyway, there's some noise in a neighboring room. Sorry. I hope you can't hear that. Okay, so they went through and went from beginning, middle, and later middle of a YouTube career, and they said you stop at the later middle because we are never done with YouTube. You just keep on going. So what type of content should you make? Cam was talking about that. He said, Well, it really depends. Do you like Tarantino movies? Who likes them? And certain members of the crowd raise their hand. He's like, and who likes Kevin James movies? And certain members raise their hand, and or certain people in the audience raise their hand. Some people might have raised it for both. But which one's right? Which one's better? And that's really opinion based. And really, he suggested don't get paralyzed worrying about what type of content. Decide who your audience is. Decide what type of videos you want to make, and go with that. Another question that always comes up whenever people are starting a channel is, our excuse is it's too saturated, meaning the woodworking niche on YouTube is too saturated. There's too many creators making too many videos, and the market can't support it. So basically, that's wrong. And if you make good content, then there are viewers out there wanting that content, and that's been shown again and again because there's creators are making more. YouTube is continuing to grow. The market share of YouTube is growing. If it keeps growing, it's going to take over. People are going to cut off the cable and they're going to watch YouTube. So why not satisfy that? What about a channel name? If you're starting a YouTube channel, what about the name? They said, don't worry about it. Any name will do. Pick one you like and go with it. The name, which name is not going to make a difference whether people subscribe to you or don't subscribe to you. Just do it. Now, I would comment on that there are certain things to consider, but he didn't go into that. I think, you're looking for a name that doesn't conflict with any other channel's name. But in general, he said, just go with anyone. People say, I have no video editing experience. And that's fine. Many of us did not whenever we started our channels. And, they gave some suggestions of what to do. Start watching other content with a critical eye. Look for transitions. Look for pauses. Look for what makes you bored, what makes you want to skip the video, what makes you want to stay engaged with the video, what elements of the editing helped keep your attention and prevented you from moving on to watch something else. One thing that is required in their opinion is a good microphone. A good microphone means good audio. If you have good audio, the audience will forgive the visuals not being perfect. But the audio, if it's not good, will just drive people crazy. So another thing that they talked about was having someone review your videos. Somebody that can be a jerk to you. Somebody that can review your video before it's released and give you honest feedback in time for you to go make reshoots and re-edits, and somebody that can tell you like it is. That, if it's not good, they need to tell you it's not good. And so if you can find someone to do that, there's a lot of people at this conference. I wish you were here. Make some connections, and we could look at each other's videos, give each other's feedback on scripts and on the video itself, on editing tips. And then they went in and talked about knowing your audience. Don't know what they expect. Your audience and Mr. Beast's audience are probably two different audiences. Woodworking audience is not the same as Mr. Beast's content and that kind of thing. you've heard it before, just hit record. Of course, we've heard John on this channel talk about that before. And they talked about that today, and to just set expectations. If you're going to just hit record, then don't expect too much from that video. Expect from the video what you can put into it as you make it better. How many videos should you be putting out at first? Whenever you start your channel, John is recommending 5 videos be released at the same time. So you go from 0 videos to releasing 5. So if you get 1 video ready, keep it on the shelf until you make 4 more, because you need 5 the day that you start your channel, and release all of them at the same time. Because what happens is, if they are good videos and people watch one of them, they are going to go to your channel and they can see 4 others that they can binge watch. Or YouTube is going to see that the viewers really like your content, and they know YouTube will figure out to suggest the other videos to them. So the same viewer watches each of your 5 videos. So that is a concept that I don't hear a lot of from other YouTube education channels. And I think could really be beneficial to a new YouTuber as you're starting your channel. Shorts. Don't do it for the money, but plan on getting some shorts out there. YouTube shorts help you gain subscribers and give you some nice videos to support your audience that are short and to the point and fun or educational. And so playing around with YouTube shorts, because of the direction YouTube is going in, seems essential at this point. So that's it for the beginners. That's the basics that they tried to hit on. I may have missed some, but I just took notes as I was there. But I also had to enjoy being there in the moment. So if I missed something, maybe we'll pick it up another time. Maybe John will come on and we'll have a chat. Middle. Let's talk about the middle. Once you get past the beginning stage of being starting YouTube or social media videos, then you're in the middle, and there's 2 metrics to consider for successful video: the pacing, and then the thumbnails and titles. Thumbnails and titles being grouped together because they should be working together to trigger that response from the viewer to click that video and give it a watch. So the pacing, you want to keep it moving. You want to, I'm sorry, next door's doing some screaming. You want to keep the pace of the video moving so that the viewer doesn't get bored and they don't have a reason to leave your video. Keeping the pace moving. Don't do like I just did and pause and talk about the neighbors screaming. Also, we looked at a retention graph, and you're looking for that flat line that your viewers are staying on your video all the way to the end. So you can see that in your retention graph, in your statistics on YouTube. It may have a dip at the beginning, but then from that point on, it should be flat all the way across to be near perfect. And that means once the viewers get into the video, they stay with the video all the way to the end. And when we saw an example of one of Cam's, and it's pretty incredible how straight across it is. People stay on there. Try to keep people watching. And your intros to your videos should be to the point. In the first 10 to 15 seconds, you should be telling them why they are there and what you're going to give them in the video, and that should correspond with your title and thumbnail. If you say we're going to build widgets, then the beginning of your video, say today we're building widgets, and then go into building widgets, and avoid all the talk, about this is why we may want to build a widget, and we may want to consider widgets. There's a long history of widgets. We could make a different kind of widget. There's different types of widgets. People don't want to hear that. They want you to get into it, get into the action. Let's talk about clickbait. Of course, there's good and bad clickbait. So everybody thinks clickbait is bad. It seems like everybody says, I don't want anything to do with clickbait, but yet misleading titles and thumbnails get clicked on all the time, and even the ones that are obviously clickbait. But how do you maintain and encourage an audience to be loyal? You have good clickbait, which is legitimate clickbait, that you're teasing a part of the video without giving away the answer in the thumbnail and title. If you're misleading and have a thumbnail and title that have nothing to do with what is really in the video, then it's bad clickbait. It's going to chase viewers off. They're not going to forgive you repeatedly for doing that to them, and they'll start avoiding your videos. Good thumbnails are easy to digest for the viewer. Bad thumbnails are cluttered. Good thumbnails spark a curiosity with the viewer. Bad thumbnails are too detailed, too many details. Good thumbnails will stand out from other thumbnails, and bad thumbnails are repetitive. The viewer feels like they've seen them before, so they don't stand out at all. And they gave some examples of those, and it was real clear to see which videos were more interesting and were easy to understand and made me want to click on them on their screen. Titles, good titles, plays off the thumbnail. It doesn't say the exact thing as the thumbnail. It plays off of it. And bad thumbnails repeat the same text from the thumbnail. Good titles may pose a question. Bad titles are actually giving the answer. Good thumbnails are confirmed in the video. Good titles are confirmed in the video, and bad titles are not mentioned in the video. So it's all about being that good type of clickbait is okay. You have permission to have clickbait, but make it good for the viewer. Cause a sense of urgency to watch the video, to have a sense of curiosity, and make them not want to scroll past it, but I've got to go in that video and see what this is about without being misleading. They also talk about the click-through rate graph, and then they talked about how often we should post. Prioritize quality over frequency. So if you're trying to post every week at the same time, but the only way you can do that is to release subpar videos, then you're not helping yourself, and worse, you're not helping your viewer. So I really thought that was a great message. Time to release doesn't matter. Cam said it really doesn't matter. usually you pick a time in a day and you'll stick with that. But in the end, it doesn't matter. The most views don't come at the moment that you release it. Um, you just want to I'm distracted by the noises in the room next door. um, so somebody asked, did mid-roll ads hurt performance? And some people have the theory that mid-roll ads may disturb the flow of the video and cause people to click off. But people are used to ads now, and YouTube wants to make money, so they may be pushing videos that have more ads on them because they want to have more income. And if a good video has good retention and they can get ads out of it, I'm sure they want to make money, and you want to make money as a content creator. All right, let's skip and talk briefly about the later middle portion of being a YouTuber. What you want to do is avoid burnout. You got to take care of yourself. They read a quote from Mr. Steve Ramsey, and basically, you don't have any problems. If you're making content at all, you're not starving somewhere. You're not begging for scraps. You just need to quit crying about it and be happy that we live in such a great time and can provide such a great service as providing videos. So at the same time, take care of your mental health and take care of yourself. And look for the little things. What are the little things you can do to really take your videos to the next level? This is at the later middle stage. So you've made it past the middle stage of YouTube and you're more experienced. So it's those little things at that point that will help you improve, taking those extra steps to make sure your thumbnail and title are as good as they can be, and that you follow up on them after you release videos. And the algorithm, ignore it. Don't worry about the algorithm. YouTube has put together a system where whenever a viewer logs in, YouTube is going to find the best compilation of videos that they can to provide to that viewer. And if your video happens to be one of those, it may get seen. But don't worry about the algorithm being against you or for you. YouTube's going to do what's best for YouTube, and that is try to provide the best content for its viewers to keep them on the platform and keep things moving. I really enjoyed that session with John and Cam. Tomorrow, we've got another lineup of classes, including a repeat of some of the ones that were done today, like Breaking the Brand Barrier by Chris from Make Everything. That's going to be done again in the morning at 11. Scott, the Craftsman blog, is going to do a session on creative ways to monetize your business. Joseph, everybody knows Joseph from Jojax, is doing a photo boot camp, 4 years of film school in 90 minutes. Eric from a Craftsman's Legacy is doing a session on learn how to be a storyteller. Pat and Carlina from Pine Barren Palette Works are doing a session on making the algorithm work for you. Jess, Crow Creek Designs and Total Boat are having a session with Epoxy 101 for woodworkers and crafting. So I've got to select one of those to attend. That's going to be another hard choice. Let me know which one of those you would like to attend if you were here. In the next, the 2:30 sessions includes Dust Collection 101, What Every Woodworker Should Know. That's by Onada Air Systems. And then Anika's DIY Life is doing a presentation on creating passive incomes. And then there's another session on streamline your creative process. There's a session on the secret of easy money on Facebook without new content. Bourbon Moth and Keith from KJ Sawdust is doing a session, All You Need Is a Phone. And House of Timber and Bearwood, Lizzie from that, is doing a session on scroll saw techniques, which is a hands-on section with scroll saws, which is pretty neat. And then tomorrow, the later sessions, starting at 4:30, include short format video, captivate within 10 seconds. That's by Suman. Suman was on here. Suman, that is awesome. You're awesome. I know that's going to be great. Chris and Nathan are doing Keeping Your Hobby Profitable. Joni from Joni Sprague is doing a session on Create IT, all on the Instagram platform. District Leather Supply is doing hands-on make and take accessory. And Cecilia, the Shopwood Designs and Sabertooth is doing power carving. And then before our closing ceremonies, Ann and Adam from Ann of All Trades will be speaking to us, and then we'll have the closing ceremonies. I am psyched, and I don't hear my wife calling because she's at home, but I'll see you tomorrow.